Welcome to EFM's 3 p.m. News. I am your presenter, Narissa Bostwick. On the local scene, a task force has been established by the Cabinet to address the impacts of the recent increase in tariffs by the United States of America on the price of food in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. This was announced by Minister of Agriculture, Forestry, Fisheries, Rural Transformation, Industry and Labor, Honorable Saboto Caesar, earlier today. U.S. President Donald Trump on Wednesday announced his global reciprocal tariffs, with a number of Caribbean countries facing reciprocal tariff rates of 10%. Minister Caesar noted that among commodities that this country exports to the United States includes dasheen and other root crops.
In St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we produce significant quantities of food which are exported to the region and also to the extra region. And we are a major exporter of dasheen and other root crops to the United States of America. With the new tariff system, what we are going to notice is that food entering the United States of America for re-export, attracting significant tariff increases. This will be passed on to consumers in receiving countries. Therefore, we have to manage the issue of imported inflation.
The Agriculture Minister said that one sure way of ensuring that this country is not negatively impacted by the changes which are taking place globally is to produce more food within our borders. He said the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry, Fisheries, Rural Transformation, Industry and Labor will soon be ramping up activities in an effort to improve and increase the production of food locally.
One sure way of ensuring that we are not negatively impacted by the changes which are taking place globally is to produce more food within our borders. Over the upcoming days and weeks, we are going to see an increase in the activities by the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry, Fisheries, Rural Transformation, Industry and Labor as it pertains to our quest to improve, to increase the production of food in our country. Already, we have witnessed over the past few days, we have imported 17,500 day-old broiler chicks, and these were distributed to farmers.
That was Minister of Agriculture, Forestry, Fisheries, Rural Transformation, Industry and Labor, Honorable Saboto Caesar. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Trade and Consumer Affairs, in partnership with the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Chamber of Industry and Commerce, had the distinct pleasure of welcoming a delegation comprising 32 students and 5 professors from EGC Martinique. This esteemed group arrived at a cruise ship terminal in Kingstown on April 3rd. The one-day visit formed an integral part of the International Caribbean Mission aboard the MSC Virtuoso cruise ship. The mission aims to foster meaningful dialogue and collaborative exchanges between the business school and key local economic stakeholders across several Caribbean islands. Under the leadership of Ms. Livia Sirlane, Professor of Marketing, Communication, Innovation and Design Thinking at EGC Martinique, the mission serves as an invaluable opportunity for mutual learning and growth. The itinerary for the day included a guided tour of the Eastern Caribbean group of companies, round-table discussions involving the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Trade and Consumer Affairs, Invest SVG, the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Chamber of Industry and Commerce, Hotel Alexandrina, Cyril's Agro Products, and Miss Kimia Glasgow. The Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations, FAO, earlier this week officially handed over 3 automated weather stations, AWS, to the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry, Fisheries, Rural Transformation, Industry and Labor, and the Central Water and Sewerage Authority, CWSA. This initiative is part of the FAO's disaster risk management portfolio, specifically within the Data Digitization and Livelihoods Program and the Resilient Environment and Agricultural Climate Habitats REACH initiative. During the ceremony, Chief Agricultural Officer Renato Gums emphasized the value of these weather stations in enhancing data collection and improving the use of agricultural information. Minister of Agriculture, Forestry, Fisheries, Rural Transformation, Industry and Labor, Honorable Saboto Caesar, expressed gratitude to the FAO for its ongoing support, highlighting how the stations will help combat the effects of climate change and benefit farmers in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Permanent Secretary within the Ministry of Agriculture, Cuthbert Knights, said the AWS technology would contribute to a more data-driven approach to agriculture, ultimately boosting productivity and sustainability in the sector. Meanwhile, Acting General Manager of the Central Water and Sewage Authority, Michael Crease, highlighted the importance of the weather stations, which are set to be established in Richmond, Dumbarton, and North Union. He assured that the CWSA's Water Resource Division would make full use of the equipment to benefit the nation. On to regional news. The alleged sexual assault of a 6-year-old girl by her 11-year-old primary school peer is obviously a failure of the village, according to Head of Community Health and Psychiatry at the University of the West Indies, Professor Wendell Abel. I don't know the specifics of the situation except to say that children live what they learn and what they see on a daily basis, and it just speaks to the overexposure to the fact that the society is an over-sexualized society, overexposed to violence and so on, and that really we need to bring up our children to be able to behave in age-appropriate ways, said Abel, who was the guest speaker at the Grace Kennedy Foundation's annual lecture on Wednesday. Abel, who delivered his lecture titled Breaking the Cycle on Childhood Trauma, in which he explored the effects of childhood trauma and the strategies for healing, was responding to a question posed anonymously following his presentation about the possible causes and interventions for the offending child. The alleged incident reportedly took place at a corporate area school in Jamaica on Tuesday, March 11th. According to the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, its investigations showed that the male student pulled the female into an empty classroom after school where she was assaulted. Economic growth in Latin America and the Caribbean has returned to more stable historical averages since the coronavirus COVID-19 pandemic, according to a new report issued by the Inter-American Development Bank, IDB. But the IDB acknowledges that amid global shifts, the region needs to embrace a series of reforms to seize growth opportunities and to chart a course toward greater prosperity for their citizens. According to the IDB's new macroeconomic report, the region grew 2% in 2024, exceeding initial forecast of 1.7%, and is expected to grow 2.3% in 2025. The Regional Opportunities Amid Global Shifts report projected growth rates are insufficient to address the region's pressing socioeconomic needs, including reducing poverty and inequality. It said countries in the region should therefore focus on boosting productivity while reducing socioeconomic inequalities and maintaining macroeconomic stability. And finally in the news at this hour, the Trump administration has fired the head of both the National Security Agency and U.S. Cyber Command, the BBC's U.S. partner CBS has reported. The removal of General Timothy Haw comes amid what appears to be a wider purge of top security officials at the agency and at the White House. Democrats have said they are deeply disturbed by the move and they say it jeopardizes national security. It is not clear why General Haw was removed, but it comes after a meeting between President Donald Trump and the far-right activist Laura Loomer on Wednesday. Ms. Loomer reportedly urged President Trump to fire specific employees whom she suspected lacked support for his agenda. She posted on X that General Haw and his deputy Wendy Noble, who U.S. media reported was also sacked, have been disloyal to President Trump. That is why they have been fired. President Trump, meanwhile, has denied Ms. Loomer played a role in the firings. Before the firings were reported, Donald Trump told reporters he would get rid of any staff deemed to be disloyal. This has been WeFM's 3 p.m. News. I have been your presenter, Narissa Bostwick. Join us again at 5:30 p.m. when we will bring you our next newscast.